Alright. Book Daniel. Where we at here? The hour, day 16, year 16, hour of 1. $121. 2. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judea, Nebuchadnezzar Razandachupin, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord came to Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and into his hand, along with the sum of the vessels of the house of God. What are the vessels? Means like some of the vessels, like things that were in the house of God. And he brought them to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasury of his God. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, as the chief of the officials, to bring in some of the sons of Israel, including some of the royal family and of the nobles, youths in whom was no defect, who were good-looking, showing intelligence in every branch of wisdom, endowed with understanding and discerning knowledge, and who had ability for serving in the king's court. And he ordered him to teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed for them a daily ration from the king's choice food and from the wine which he drank, and appointed that they should be educated 3 years, at the end of which they were to enter the king's personal service. Now among them from the sons of Judah were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And the commander of the officials assigned new names to them. And to Daniel he assigned the name Belteshazzar. Daniel's name is Belteshazzar. To Hananiah, Shadrach. To Mishael, Meshach. And to Azariah, Abednego. Daniel's dedication. But Daniel made up the mind that he would not defile himself with the king's choice food, or with the wine which he drank. So he sought permission from the commander of the officials that he might not defile himself. Now God granted Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the commander of the officials. And the commander of the officials said to Daniel, I am afraid of my lord the king, who has appointed your food and your drink. For why should he see your faces looking more haggard than the youths who are your own age? Then you would make me forfeit my head to the king. But Daniel said to the overseer, sir, whom the commander of the officials had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days, and let us be given some vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance be observed in your presence, and the appearance of the youths who are eating the king's choice food, and deal with your servants according to what you see. So he listened to them in this manner, and tested them for 10 days. And at the end of 10 days their appearance seemed better, and they were fatter than all the youths who had been eating the king's choice food. So the overseer, sir, continued to withhold their choice food and the wine they were to drink, and kept giving them vegetables. Daniel rise to favor, and as for these, for use, God gave them. Let me show you the dream right here. knowledge and intelligence in every branch of literature and wisdom. Daniel even understood all kinds of visions and dreams. Then at the end of the days which the king had specified for the presenting them, and the commander of the official presenting them before Razandah, Chupin, or Nebuchadnezzar, the king talked with them, and out of them all not one was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah. So they entered the king's personal service. And as for every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king consulted them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and conjurers which were in all his realm. And Daniel continued until the first year of Cyrus the king. Nebuchadnezzar's dream, the great image. In the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, had dreams, and had the spirit was troubled, and has slept left him. Then the king gave orders to call the magicians and conjurers and sorcerers and Chaldeans to tell the king and his dreams. So they came and stood before the king, and the king said to them, I had a dream. My spirit is anxious to understand the dream. Then the Chaldeans spoke to the king in Aramaic. O king, live forever. Tell the dream to your servants, and we'll declare the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the command for me is firm. If you do not make known to the dream an interpretation, you will be torn limb from limb, and your houses will be made your rubbish heap. But if you declare the dream and interpretation, you will receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore declare to me the dream and interpretations. No gifts are necessary for anybody. The dream revealed to Daniel. Who revealed it to him? They answered a second time and said, let the king tell the dream to his servants, and we will declare the interpretation. The king answered and said, I know for certain that you are bargaining for time, inasmuch as you have seen the command from me is firm. Now that you do not make the dream known to me, there is only one decree for you, for you have agreed together to speak lying and corrupt words before me until the situation is changed. Therefore tell me the dream, that I may know that you can declare to me the interpretation. The Chaldeans answered the king and said, there is not a man on earth who could declare the matter for the king, and as much as no king or ruler has ever asked anyone like this of the magicians and conjurers of Chaldeans. Moreover, the thing which the king demands is difficult, and there is no one else who could declare the king except God, whose dwelling place is not with mortal flesh. Because of this, the king became indignant and very furious, and gave orders to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. So the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they looked for Daniel and his friends to kill them. Then Daniel replied with discretion and discernment to Arioch, the captain of the king's bodyguard, who had gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's commander, for what reason to decree the king so urgent? Then the Arioch informed Daniel about the matter. So Daniel went and requested of the king that he would give him time, in order that he might declare the interpretation to the king. Then Daniel went to his house and informed his friends Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah about the matter, in order that they might request compassion for the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that Daniel and his friends might not be destroyed, and with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in the night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven, and Daniel answered and said, let the name of God be blessed forever and ever, for wisdom and power belong to him. And it is he who changes the times and the epochs. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives kings wisdom and wise men to wise men, and acknowledge men of understanding. It is he who reveals the profound and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. To thee, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise, for thou hast given me wisdom and power. Even now thou hast made known to me what we requested of thee, for thou hast made known to us the king's manner. The dream recited and interpreted to Nebuchadnezzar. Was it 224? Therefore Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and spoke to him as follows: Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Take me into the king's presence, and I will declare an interpretation to the king. Then Arioch hurriedly brought Daniel into the king's presence and spoke to him as follows: I have found a man among the exiles from Judah who had made the interpretation known to the king. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, are you able to make known to me the dream? I think I already interpreted some of this, but make known to me the dream which I have seen in interpretation. Daniel answered before the king and said, As for the mystery about which the king has inquired, neither wise men, conjurers, magicians, nor diviners is able to declare it to the king. However, there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries, and he has made known to the king of Nebuchadnezzar what will take place in the latter days. This was your dream, and the visions in your mind, which while on your bed. As for you, O king, while on your bed, your thoughts turn to what would take place in the future, and he who reveals mysteries has made known to what will take place. But as for me, the mystery has been revealed to me for any wisdom residing in me more than any other living man. But the purpose of the making of the interpretation known to the king, and that you may understand the thoughts of your mind. You, O king, were looking, and behold, there was a single great statue. And the statue, which was large and extraordinary splendor, was standing in front of you, and the appearance was awesome. And the head of the statue was made of fine gold, its breasts and its arms of silver, its belly and its thighs of bronze, and the legs of iron, feet partly of iron, and partly of clay. You continued looking until a stone was cut out without hands, and it struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay, and crushed them. Feet of iron and clay, kind of like, I say it's kind of like steel to it. Then the iron and the clay and the bronze and the silver and the gold were crushed all at the same time. It became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. and the wind carried them away, so that not a trace of them was found. But the stone that struck the statue became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. A great mountain filled the whole earth. This was the dream. Now we shall tell its interpretation before the king. Jerusalem is the mountain. You, O king, are the King of kings, in whom the God of heaven has given kingdom and power and strength of glory. And wherever the sons of men dwell, of the beasts of the field, of the birds of the sky, he has given them into your hand, and has caused them to rule over them all. You are the head of gold. And after you there will arise another kingdom inferior to you, then another third kingdom of bronze, of gold, golden age, the bronze age, which the rule over the earth. Then there will be a fourth kingdom as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron crushes and shatters all things, so that like iron that breaks in pieces, it will crush and break all these in pieces. Kind of like glass. Iron. And it that you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, it will be a divided kingdom, but it will have in it the touches of iron, inasmuch as you saw the iron mixed with the common clay. And the toes of the feet were partly of iron, partly of pottery, so that some kingdom will be strong and part of it will be brittle. And in that you saw the iron mixed with the common clay, and that will combine with another seed of men, and one another in the seed of men, but they will not add her to one another, even as iron does not combine with pottery. Clay, also saying that their seed does not work with them. And in the days of the kings and the gods of heaven will set up a kingdom which will never be destroyed, and the kingdom will not be left for another people. It will be crushed and put an end to all these kingdoms, but it will itself endure forever. Inasmuch as you saw a stone was cut out of the mountain, a stone was cut out of the mountain, Jerusalem, without hands, and that it crushed the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great God has made known the king that would take place in the future, so the dream is true, the interpretation is trustworthy. Can mean a few things right there. The promotion down, the king Nebuchadnezzar this is the one I wanted to talk about. This is the interpretation. Okay. Nebuchadnezzar, vision of the high tree. The vision narrated by Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of all the people, nations of men of every language that live on the earth. Nebuchadnezzar, the king to all the peoples, nations, and men of every language that live on all the earth. May your peace abound. It has seemed good to me to declare the signs of the wonders which the Most High God has done for me. How great are the signs and how mighty are the wonders. The kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and its dominion for generation to generation. Nebuchadnezzar was at ease in my house and flourishing for my palace. Alright. Okay, the magicians. Okay. Now these were the visions of my mind, and I lay on my bed. I was looking, and behold, there was a tree in the midst of the earth. A tree in the midst of the earth. Earth. Also meaning Mother Earth. Okay, this tree height was great, and the tree grew large and became strong, and its height reached to the sky and was visible to the end of the whole earth, and its foliage was beautiful and its fruit abundant. Its foliage was beautiful and its fruit abundant. It's talking about a woman, and its fruit abundant, and in it was food for all. The beasts of all the field found shade under it, and the birds of the sky dwelt in its branches, and all the living creatures fed themselves from it. Also, mustard seed. The mustard seed that Jesus talks about. I was looking in the visions in my mind as I lay on my bed, and behold, an angelic watcher, a holy one, descended from heaven, and he shouted and spoke as follows: Chop down the tree and cut off the branches. Chop down the tree and cut off its branches. Strip off the foliage and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts flee from under it, and the birds from the branches. It's saying to clean it out. Yet leave the stump with its roots in the ground. Saying leave the stump so you can regrow it, but with a band of iron and bronze around it. In the new grass of the field, New Jerusalem, and let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, the anointing oil, and let the rain, and let him share the beasts in the grass of the earth. share with the beasts of the grass of the earth. Let him share with the beasts of the grass of the earth. Let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let the beast's mind be given to him. And let 7 periods, remember that, periods of time pass over him. The sentence is by the decree of the angelic watchers, and the decision is the command of the holy ones, in order that the living may know that the Most High rule over the realm of mankind, and bestows it as he wishes, and sets over the lowest of men. This is the dream which the king Nebuchadnezzar has seen. Now you, Belshazzar, tell me the interpretation, inasmuch as none of the wise men of the kingdom is able to make known to me the interpretation, but you are able, for a spirit of the holy gods is in you. Okay. What he's talking about here, 7 periods of time, which are 7 days, 70 weeks, 7 years. It's called the high tree. Okay, now let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 19. Okay, the lamentation for the princes of Israel. As for you, take up the lamentation for the princes of Israel, and say, What was your mother? A lioness among lions? She lay down among young lions. She reared her cubs. When she brought up one of her cubs, she became a lion, building the tree. And he learned to tear his prey, and he devoured men. Then the nations heard about him, and he was captured in their pit. And they brought him with hooks to the land of Egypt. When she saw, as she waited, then that her hope was lost. She took another of her cubs and made him a young lion, and he walked about among the lions and became a young lion, and he learned to tear his prey. He devoured men, and he destroyed their fortified towers and laid waste their cities, and the land of its fullness was appalled because of the sound of his roaring. Then the nations set against him on every side from their provinces, and they spread their net over him. Entrapment. He was captured in their pit, and they put him in the cage with hooks, and brought him to the king of Babylon. And they brought him in hunting nets, so that the voice should be heard no more on the mountains of Israel. Your mother was like a vine in your vineyard. A vine, a tree, a vineyard, a vine. As Jesus said, I'll never drink of that vine. Planted by the waters. It was fruitful and full of abundance. It was fruitful and full of abundance. Saying that she was very beautiful and fruitful. Because of abundant waters. Abundant waters is the word. And it had strong branches fit for scepters. Remember it said cut off the branches of DaniEL, fit for scepters of rulers. Were the scepters of rulers? Because they dwelled underneath it. And its height was raised above the clouds, just like the divisions, so that it was seen in its height with the mass of its branches. But it was plucked up in fury. It was cast down to the ground, as DaniEL said, or the angel said, leave the stump. It was plucked up in fury. It was cast down to the ground, and the east wind dried up its fruit from the east. Its strong branch, Sodom and Gomorrah from the east, its strong branch was torn off, so that it withered. It says the hand withered. Okay. So the fire consumed it, and now it is planted in the wilderness. Still there. And in a dry and thirsty land. Needs water. And fire has gone out from its branch, and has consumed its shoots and fruit, so that there is not in it a strong branch, a scepter to rule. This is a lamentation, and has become a lamentation. Okay. What did Jesus say about the mustard seed? Oh, look at that. I just go right to it. That's how good I am. That's called the Holy Spirit. This is called the wheat and the tares. Now listen. It's called the putting the word together. And one of whom the seed was sown on the good soil, this is the man who hears the word and understands it, who is indeed bears fruit, and brings forth some 100-fold, and some 60, and some 30, some 100-fold, 100. And the one on whom the seed was sown among the thorns is the man who hears the word, and the worry of the world and the deceitfulness of the riches choke the word and becomes unfruitful. Because people choke the word. They try to eliminate it by harmful words. That's why you got to bear humility. Okay, let me see about the mustard seed. And he presented another parable to him, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. And this is the smaller than all the other seeds. This is the kingdom of heaven he's talking about. And this is the smaller than all the other seeds. But when it is full grown, it is larger than the garden plants, and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and nest in its branches. The leaven. He spoke another parable to them. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven. 11 disciples, which a woman took and hid in 3 pecks of meal until it was leavened. She stirred it. She stirred them up. Perfect circle. The wheat and the tares. All these things Jesus spoke to the multitudes in parables, and he did not speak to them without a parable, so that when it was spoken through the prophet might be fulfilled, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the foundation of the world. Then he left the multitudes and went to the house, and his disciples came to him, saying, Explain to us the parable of the tares of the field. And he answered and said, The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. He's the Son of Man, for he has power over everything. He's not the Christ. He's the son of a man. He's not a son of a virgin. Is he? Maybe. For the Christ, I'm not going to say. And the field is the world, and as for the good seed, these are the sons of the kingdom. And the tares are the sons of the evil one. Tares. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. And the harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. Remember, the harvest is during the summer. Therefore, just as the tares are gathered up and burned with fire, so shall it be at the end of the age, gathered and burned with fire. The Son of Man will send forth his angels, and they will gather out his kingdom all stumbling blocks, and those who commit lawlessness, and will cast them into the furnace of fire. Furnace of fire. In that place that there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I know that Nebuchadnezzar has a furnace. I'm not saying he's Nebuchadnezzar. For the Son of Man has authority over all. Then the righteous will shine forth at the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Brightness of the Father. He who has ears, let him hear. the hidden treasure. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a rich man found and hid. And from joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. This is actually the hidden treasure. The kingdom of God is like a treasure hidden in the field, which a man found and hid. And from joy usually means a kid, over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. This can mean two things. Let me see here. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant seeking fine pearls. And upon finding one pearl of great value, he went and sold all that he had and bought it. Our pearls are bottom dwellers. A pearl of great price. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant, a servant, seeking fine pearls. Okay, he went and bought it. For the kingdom of heaven is in your midst. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like the... Oh, I'm reading Matthew. Matthew's always hard for me. All the other ones are easy. And the kingdom of heaven is like a... Everyone else could read Matthew easy, and I can't. The kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet cast into the sea. The sea is the word, gathering the fish of every kind. Okay? And when it is filled, they drew it up on the beach. They're talking about John 24 in John. Cast a net on the right-hand side. You'll catch so many fish the net will not be torn. We are a net. Okay. Sat down and gathered the good fish into the containers, but the bad they threw away. Why did they throw away? So it will be at the end of the age. The angels shall come forth and take out the wicked from among the righteous. Yes, they do. It's called Michael, Gabriel, first and the last, and a woman. Omega, Alpha and Omega, in the middle, and will cast them into the furnace of the fire. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And will cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be weeping and grinding of teeth. There's fire there. Maybe you may be eaten. The householder, have you understood all these things? They said to him, yes. Have you guys? And he said to them, therefore every scribe who has become a disciple of the kingdom of heaven is like a head of the household, who brings forth out his treasure things new and old. For what Jesus gave them kingdom and priority. Some people don't get that, and they still have jealousy in them. For one of them was named Judas. Which there are two different Judases. Remember that. The program attacked by his own townspeople. I don't want to talk about that. Alright. There, I just showed you. Allow both to grow together until the harvest. And in time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, first gather up the tares, which are the bad, and bind them in bundles to burn them up, but gather the wheat into my barn. As in Ezekiel. In Ezekiel it says, are you ready to eat? Okay. Remember, the 7 high priests are the 7 lambs. For there must be a lamb that brings the ram, which are people, to God. Not to eat. Yeah, listen, but during judgment,